Welcome to Walking with Spirit with Dr. Ruth Anderson on the International Angels Network. Today is Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. I am your host, Ruth Anderson, and I'm coming to you from Colorado. This show has been pre-recorded, so unfortunately, we aren't able to take any call-in listeners. I am an author and a spiritual counselor providing individualized transformational experiences for my clients using Holy Fire Reiki, energy work, and connection with the spiritual divinity, including the Divine Mother, Archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Here at International Angels Network, we explore spirituality, angels, spirit guides, our loved ones on the other side, and much more. Our radio podcasts are available to you on Pocket Casts, Pinterest, Player FM, Podchaser, Stitcher, and My Turner Radio. If you download the My Turner Radio platform, you can listen to us on Alexa. These are all easy sites to use, so you can listen to our archive shows. Unfortunately, last week we needed to postpone the show with Danielle Nister due to unforeseen circumstances. We will get that rescheduled as soon as possible. Tonight I'm thrilled to present week 3 of our 5-week mini-series called Getting to Know Divine Mother with our guest, Sumaya O'Grady. This episode of International Angels Network is sponsored by Holistic Light Rejuvenation Center. For more information, visit holisticrejuvenate.com. Sunday Sturgeon is the founder and CEO of Holistic Light Rejuvenation Center and is a host on our network. We are pleased to announce that International Angels Network is now also sponsored by Audible by Amazon. If you go to www.audibletrial.com/International Angels Network, you can get a free audiobook. So please check that out today. I myself have a new book coming out on August 7th, Walking with Spirit, Divine Illuminations on Life, Death, and Beyond, shares so many lessons that I've learned this past year and a half, including what happens when we die, how can I connect to the spiritual divinity, and what can we learn about the world we live in from the spirit realm. The introductory price will be $1 for a short period of time, so please be looking for that starting August 7th on Amazon. Before we get started, I wanted to share a blog post from my dear friend, who you all have heard on my show, Linda Dirks, from her website, spinstrawtogoldnow.com. If you get onto her website, you can sign up for her blog post to be sent directly to you. This blog showed up in my inbox the other day. It's called The Indelible Spark Within, and Linda writes, "Last week, my beloved Uncle Judd passed at the ripe age of 92. He was the consummate, slow-moving, dry-witted Vermonter. He was actually the model of the George Utley character on the TV Vermont bed and breakfast sitcom, The Newhart Show. It reminds me that we all have a spark of the divine, the God force that glows in each of us. It is completely unique, having never lived before or will again. It's the essence of our spirit and the ceaseless two-way interplay with our source. Upon death, this spark returns to our Creator. Emanating from the heart, this diamond pure spark is invincible. It is that core within us that can't be touched by pain, trauma, or self-doubt. It is ceaseless love that is always teaching and guiding, and our source of wisdom, creativity, and inspiration. It's a force that can never be diminished or corroded, nor its cord to the divine erased. You ignite this spark when you live from your heart, not your brain. The goal of life, then, is to allow the divine spark to influence us toward love, peace, and harmony. I would like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen in. This show is called Walking with Spirit. Walking with Spirit means consciously living in the physical realm with frequent connection to the divinity in the spirit realm and being open to all that they want me to experience. Every day I check in with my guides, Divine Mother, and God. sometimes seeking guidance, sometimes seeking connection, and sometimes seeking their healing abilities. Divine Mother is known by many names. Some see her as Mother Mary, the Divine Mother of Jesus Christ. Others see her as Mother Nature, Mother Earth, or a divine feminine universal energy. I see her as a combination of all those things, encompassing nature, heaven, and earth. Divine Mother is the essence of all things compassionate and maternal. She brings an all-embracing, all-consuming love to her healing. Divine Mother has given me unconditional love and the impossible, all-encompassing nurturing that my soul longs for in a mother. Time spent with Divine Mother left me feeling intensely satisfied, wholeheartedly nurtured, and wide open to love and be loved, very loved. My friend Carol was at my house to share energetic healings. When it was my time to provide a healing for her, I invited in the spiritual divinity. I believe that Divine Mother and the archangels can provide superior healing to the Reiki and energy healing I would normally give. I watched as Divine Mother approached Carol and then wrapped her arms around her. Her embrace was all-encompassing, and Carol reacted with such contentment and, yes, with a twinge of grief for what had been missing and desired for so long, as Carol's mother was always judgmental and wanted to receive instead of give to her children. Carol cried when she felt Divine Mother's unconditional love because she had never felt that depth of love before. Afterwards, Carol and I talked about how she could access that connection to Divine Mother on her own. And friends, that is available to you all as well. So thank you for listening. I would now like to tell you about Sumaya O'Grady, our guest this evening. Sumaya O'Grady has a master's, is a Dove Oracle priestess in the Seven Sisters Mystery School, and has been a spiritual teacher and healer for over 30 years. She teaches her clients to make a powerful heart and mindset shift that leads them to life mastery and accelerated spiritual growth. As a fully conscious channel, Sumaya is divinely transmitting from her goddess self and receives oracle transmissions from Mother Mary, as well as other higher dimensional beings. Sumaya's clients gain deeper insights into their soul's purpose, past lives, and experience healing of emotional and spiritual issues. For more information, visit souldeepconfidence.com. And now I'd like to introduce you to Sumaya O'Grady. Sumaya, are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. There we go. We've got you now.
All right.
So Sumaya, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Oh, it's my honor. I so appreciate that you invited me to be on your show. Thanks.
Oh, absolutely. So, Sumaya, I spent a little time looking at your website in preparation for today's show, and you describe yourself as a soul alchemist, and I love that title. What does that mean to you?
Well, before I began deeply connecting with Mother Mary and other manifestations of the Divine Mother, I was very connected to Saint Germain, and I still am. I consider him an important teacher on the inner for me. And alchemy is really about changing a lower vibration energy to a higher vibration energy so that you can move toward in your life with greater ease and mastery and with greater love, really. It's always about love. And so love and forgiveness, I see them as not just qualities, but they're powers. And they are the powers that actually create the alchemy in our souls that awakens us and moves us into a greater light.
That's beautiful. Now, I don't know Saint Germain. So, what can you tell me about him? What is he known for? Did you know of Saint Germain before you met him?
Yes, I did. I was very aware of Saint Germain. There have been a lot of teachings out about the 7 rays. I don't know if you're familiar with that, or perhaps some of your listeners have heard of it. Of course, there are many rays, but the first 7 are the most well known. They're the rays, cosmic rays, that have brought the universe into manifestation. And the 7th ray is known as the violet flame. And Saint Germain is the master on the violet flame. And he is the alchemist. He's the ultimate divine alchemist. And the violet flame is all about love, compassion, forgiveness, and alchemy, in the way that I described it a minute ago. And I learned that by working with him. And if you'll notice on my website that I do teach a lot of material about the violet flame, because it's such a powerful way that we can heal ourselves and move forward.
Okay. Yes, I did spend quite a bit of time on your website. It's really interesting. If anybody just wants to kind of take a walk through there, souldeepconfidence.com. Yeah. And I have to tell you, Sumaya, when I look at your photo, I exhale. There's something about your appearance that just calms me.
Oh.
Has anybody ever said that to you before?
Yes, they have. And people also, because one of my main, I guess it would be one of my gifts, is that I lead meditations. It's something that I love to do, and people often say that there's something about my voice as well. And, I just see me when I look in the mirror. I'm just me. So it's always interesting when I get this feedback. But thank you for that.
Yeah. So initially, how did you become spiritually connected to the Divine Mother?
Well, that did not happen so easily. When I first began my spiritual journey, and I've been on it for over 50 years, and I tried a lot of things. I explored a lot of things. I was always very dedicated to being on a spiritual path. But mostly the teachers that I found were all physical teachers, gurus in a male body. And I have to say that I gained so much from being with them and in their presence. I feel that I have been so deeply blessed and graced by being in the presence of these teachers and learning what I had to learn from them. And it wasn't until not so long ago, really, several years ago, that I began connecting with my mentor in the Seven Sisters Mystery School, Marguerite Rigoglioso. And she said, well, isn't it strange, Sumaya, that your teachers are all men? And I had never really thought about it. So she kind of poked me a little bit about that and said she thought that there was something to be gained by really connecting to the divine through the female in addition to the male. And I was a little bit annoyed with hearing that.
I love that.
I thought I was doing quite well, thank you.
Right. Like,
but I deeply respected. Huh?
Right. Don't stretch me.
Yes. I deeply respected her, and so much of her work is about the Divine Mother and the Goddess. And as I began to take programs from her, a whole new doorway opened for me. And the last thing I would have ever seen coming is that I would be a channel for Mother Mary. I didn't actually set out to do that or to even be a channel, to be honest. But it was as my connection to the Divine Mother really grew and I began orienting myself purposefully and consciously to the Divine Mother. And it started out with connecting with Gaia and our beloved Mother Earth. And that became a very deep experience. And that opened the door further. And Saint Germain and Jesus were always my guides. I grew up Catholic, and so Jesus has always been a part of my deep inner consciousness. But then Mother Mary started coming to me. I would just be sitting at home reading a book, and I would just feel this overwhelming presence. And I intuitively knew it was her, and it was actually quite a, I don't know the right word, it was a shattering experience. I was unable to function or cope. It was so, her vibration was just so powerful. And this happened over a period of a couple of years. And eventually, once I was even in a workshop where I was actually one of the presenters. And when I finished presenting, it was on the Violet Flame, and I sat down and someone else was presenting. Mother Mary came through in the strongest possible way. And every time it happened, I would just feel tears pouring from my eyes out of the overflow of love from my heart. It was quite an experience. And that was how it started. I didn't really ask for this, but I guess she chose me. As she chooses many. I mean, Mother Mary has many people who channel her.
Right.
Yeah, and so that was the beginning, but even then it never occurred to me that I would channel her. I would just, in my daily meditations, I would connect with her and my other guides and receive guidance and spiritual teachings that then I would share with other people and just for my own use. It wasn't until I really she began to tell me she wanted me to be her voice. And she wanted to speak and that she had a lot to say. And would I cooperate with that? I mean, those weren't the exact words. It was more a feeling, knowing kind of thing than it was really words, but she was really letting me know that it was time for her voice to come out in a specific way and through me. And I was still reluctant. I didn't see myself as a channel. And so I did a Facebook Live interview with Marguerite, who was one of my mentors in the Priestess program. And in the middle of the interview, or actually near the end, she said, "Why don't you channel Mother Mary right now? She's here." And I just went gulp, and it began to channel her. And this beautiful teaching came through. It was just a short thing, and that's still on Facebook now. It's on my Facebook page, Shining Your Light. And so I felt, well, that's it. You know, she's coming through, and I better just get with the program.
Oh, goodness.
And, surrender, really, and get over myself, because I honestly thought that channeling wasn't something that I would be doing. But now it turns out to be exercise.
When she comes to you and when you're channeling, do you see her? Do you feel her? Do you hear her? I mean, what are you experiencing at that moment?
Well, I'm a fully conscious channel, and so she doesn't take me over. I'm very much in my own consciousness. And often it feels like my higher self gets woven in with her. And sometimes, basically, when you talk to yourself in a meditation or you receive guidance in a meditation from spirit, and
right.
it's your own, at least for me, it's my own voice. It's me talking to me, but actually the things she says are things I would never think of saying. So
right.
I know that's her. Yeah. And she has her own unique energy. Yeah. It's felt to being an overwhelming experience because I think I just adjusted to her vibration, and it got easier and easier, and we just kind of blended like a foot inside a shoe, I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. That's a beautiful analogy. I know when I go into meditation, I'll sort of take stock of who all showed up, and normally it's like I'm calling roll call, and it's like Archangel Michael, yes, Divine Mother, yes, Archangel Gabriel, yes, Uriel, yes, Cassiel, yes, Metatron, yes, and it's just different energy. I don't see them. It just feels like different energy. And like even the voices aren't different to me, but I can tell who's saying it, and how they come across is, of course, different with each one. And it's always interesting to me because if somebody new shows up, they typically are like twice the size of the other ones, and they're right in front of my face. So I have no choice but to pay attention to them and try to figure out who they are. But it is really intriguing to me when all of a sudden I start getting an energy or a voice I don't recognize. And it's like, who am I talking to? And then I'll go through the roll call again, right? Or is it Archangel Michael? No. Is it Divine Mother? No. Is it Jesus? No. I mean, I know who they aren't. I just don't always know who they are. So I understand what you're saying about Divine Mother, and it's like not really seeing her, but recognizing that energy and knowing who it is.
I do, and more recently I've become aware that I am associating her with a blue light. It's a sky blue, and it's like a cloud that I sense or see sometimes when she comes through. And when I see this color, especially in the sky or in some other way, I think of her. And there's just something about that. And I've talked about this. Plus, I live in Sedona. There are a lot of channels here, and we share all kinds of information. And
I'm sure you do.
Yes. And several of them said that Mother Mary has this blue light. And not everyone, though. I have a friend who sees her as magenta, or she sees the light around her as magenta. So, I think it is somewhat individual, but for me, it's a blue light. And because I do speak on the inner with other guides such as Jesus and Saint Germain, and also Mary Magdalene, and also Gaia quite a bit. I've been speaking more deeply with Gaia recently. And often when I ask a question and get an answer, I will say who's speaking, and they will say we are speaking.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't always know, because it's in a sense, I really see all of these higher dimensional divine beings and masters as manifestations of divine light. And yes, they are separate, and on a certain level I can sense their personalities and the way they express themselves. But honestly, they're not like separate people in the way we are. And so at least that's just my experience. And so I've stopped worrying about who's speaking, who's telling me this. Occasionally it becomes very obvious who it is. However, mostly I'm not concerned. Yeah. Initially,
I can usually tell. I can usually tell, but sometimes when there's one that I clearly don't know, it's like, hold on.
I don't receive that. I haven't. We've talked about this, but I haven't received any new people because I set up a lot of protections that actually prevent new ones from coming unless I invite them. So it hasn't happened so far, but maybe I'm just not noticing it because I'm so focused. I do have some angels that I channel, and I've written a number of blog posts. It's the angel of beauty, the angel of love, and the angel of awaken. And those three qualities are divine qualities, and they interact with each other in exquisitely beautiful ways that I was not really aware of until I started channeling them. So you just never know. I mean, they came through as a surprise because I thought, oh, I have enough guides.
Right. It's a full house. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes. Well, it was interesting because one of the more recent ones that I experienced was the Holy Spirit. And so that was really cool because I never would have thought to invite in the Holy Spirit. So that was beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So getting back to Divine Mother, Mother Mary, and which of her many faces do you experience her?
Well, I experience Mother Mary as a vast cosmic being, actually. And having grown up Catholic, I had a specific role in my mind for who she was. But I'm, as the who gave birth to Jesus through Immaculate Conception, and I still do believe that was part of one of her divine missions here on earth. But she is far greater and has done much more than that in many other manifestations, and not just here on earth. So I'm beginning to understand what a vast being she is. And I think even though I've raised my vibration in order to experience her, I think she's somehow moderated herself to come to me so that we can kind of meet. She's quite a powerful being because, as we were talking earlier, she really, the Divine Mother, has so many faces, but there is just the Divine Mother at a certain level of thinking about it, And she shows up here on earth for us to know her in many ways. I've connected with Sekhmet, who is an Egyptian goddess, and also I had invited Mary Magdalene. I asked Mary Magdalene if she would be my guide when I started feeling a deep connection to her. And the first thing she said, yes, and Sumaya, you need more self-love. Well, I teach self-love.
Oh, that's crazy. Huh.
It's funny. That's when I knew I never would have said that to myself, So I knew it wasn't just me talking to me. And I said to her, well, I have a lot of self-love. Only a stubborn Irish woman like myself would argue with the divine being, but I did. And she said, yes, you do, but you will need more for where you're going. So that gave me pause. And I took her very seriously, and I have continued to deepen and to continue to, heal and clear and bring forth more and more self-love. I think it's so important. It's really our superpower. If you don't have that, it's really hard to progress spiritually and maintain it.
Wow. I have to think about that for a minute. It's very, very deep there, Sumaya. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Sumaya, you talked about being a fully conscious channel, and I haven't heard that term before. Can you describe what that means and what situations you end up channeling?
Yes. This is such a deep question, and it's one that's, there's not a lot of agreement on it. I have a friend who describes herself as a fully conscious medium. In fact, I have two friends because they are very gifted at speaking to people who've crossed over, and then they bring forth, messages and to their clients. Well, so they don't allow a being to enter them and take over their body or their voice or their gestures. I've seen that happen. I know someone else who does channel in that way. So I would not describe her as a fully conscious medium. I don't know exactly what the word would be. But so just because the word channel and the word medium gets bandied about so much by so many people, and it's hard to know what someone means. So I've just started using the term fully conscious so that people get that I don't talk to dead people particularly. Or, I mean, in the sense of like a recently passed over relative or something. It's just not a skill that I have. Who knows what might happen in the future. And when I do receive information from a divine being, I'm fully conscious. I'm aware, I'm awake, I'm in my body, it's my voice, my gestures.
Yeah. Well, and yes, that's interesting. And that's what I do as well. I just didn't know that there was a phrase for it. Yeah.
Yes, well, yeah, I've actually tried to really look into this because it's an area of great confusion. People use the terms conscious, or rather channel and medium, almost interchangeably, and I've heard them defined exactly the opposite of the way I define them, so I just have to define my terms so that people will know.
Right. Well, so it's interesting because you were talking about, speaking with the deceased, and that is something that I'm able to do, but it's really interesting to me because the divinity have asked me not to. So I have now removed that from my list of things that I do.
Interesting. Why do you think they asked you not to?
Well, what they described to me was that the actual, I'm probably ruffling feathers all across the network right now, but it's just what they had shared with me, so I'll just share what they told me. I was actually writing one of my books at the time that they told me that, and it really just kind of rocked my world a little bit because I thought that, I don't advertise the fact really that I do readings for folks. Not much. I mean, I mentioned it in the thing, but I really don't advertise anywhere. And I would get clients, and the message that from working with the client was always profoundly accurate for what I needed to learn, or, somehow it really was perfect for my life at that moment.
Yes.
So I just assumed that Spirit was bringing me, these clients at the right time. And then I was told, don't talk to the dead. It was like, okay, I won't. And then what they told me was that the act of talking with the dead is a lower vibrational frequency, even though the message that may come through is a higher level one. And I said, okay, well, let me see if I understand this right.
Yes, that's deep. Wow.
Yes. So you're telling me that the act of speaking with the dead is lower level, but the message coming through might be higher level. And they said, yep. And I said, well, then how am I supposed to get those messages sometimes? And they said, well, through prayer and meditation. But they were very clear for me in my journey that not to be doing that. So I said,
and
not a problem.
Yes, they may even give different advice to someone else. I've come to understand that we each have our divine mission, and we come in with a set of gifts that we may or may not know about, but they somehow get developed. Spirit sees to that one way or the other, and so the people I know who do speak to people who've crossed over actually do beautiful work, and they bring a lot of comfort and closure to the people they help. And they're actually very high vibration people. The two friends that I'm thinking of are very high vibration, and they connect to divine beings as well. And so, I think it's just very individual how they give us advice.
I agree.
And yeah, I mean, I've gotten different advice over a period of time. What I was told 2 years ago is a little different than what they're telling me now, because
Right.
I've progressed. Yeah, so they're willing to share certain other things with me. And I think you had asked me another question, though. You said, under what circumstances do you channel the Divine Mother?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I would say I do have a private practice where I do soul oracle readings, and that's on my website. And I also channel Mother Mary for small groups. And I just started doing that. It was a big edge for me. It was okay somehow doing it for a few clients, but there were more than a few, but it was somehow more contained. And but then Mother Mary said, I want more opportunities to speak. And so I went ahead and scheduled something here in Sedona area, and it was very well received. We had 17 people show up in a private living room, and Mother Mary just began speaking. And it was quite a powerful experience for me. I honestly didn't know what would happen. I was just going on faith.
Wow.
So it was very deep and beautiful. What she brought through is not something I would have ever thought to say myself. I mean, she gave a transmission. She gave forth a transmission of the rose ray.
Wow.
So
did you field questions from the people in the room, or was it really only just what Divine Mother had to say, and that was it?
Well, I had said at the beginning of the channeling that that Mother Mary would take questions, and it was preferred that people ask questions that would benefit everyone. In other words, not so much should I take this job or that job kind of question, but something a little broader. And after I finished, I think people were just so deeply moved by receiving the Rose Ray and some of the other teachings that she brought forth that nobody could think of a question. And finally, my host, who is a dear friend, she came up with some questions, and they were really great questions. So she had 3, and Mother Mary answered those. And it's all recorded, and it's on my website as an audio. So I'm doing another one August 13th here in the Sedona area, and we'll see what happens. I feel excited about it. I'm not scared like I was before. I was really a little nervous about how this would work out, but now I totally trust Mother Mary. She wants to speak, and I just have to allow that to happen and just be open. That's really all you do, I go into a deep meditation usually. I have a process in meditation through which I clear myself and invite her in. But then she comes in, and the rest is her.
So does it feel like a big responsibility to you to do this, or just a blessing? I mean, how do you interpret your role
Actually,
in this?
I feel, because this is so deeply on mission for me as a spiritual guide and as an oracle priestess, soul alchemist, all those titles, that it's so, I feel so blessed that I get to do this. And yes, it is work to put on an event. And I can see that this is going to get bigger as more people learn about it. I think that the people who came to that last event came because it was Mother Mary. Most of them didn't even know me. But word got out, that it was going to be Mother Mary would be channeled. And it was a beautiful group of people who came, mostly women. And I think people want to hear from Mother Mary. So I'm just excited that I get to be part of it, actually.
So, Sumaya, you talked a little bit about how Divine Mother will show herself to different people in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is, rather than just one common way that everybody sees her or hears her?
Wow, that is such a deep question. I have actually thought a lot about this, Ruth, and I have my own thoughts about it, but I think it would be interesting. I think I would like to spend some more time in meditation and ask that too. But for now, I feel that the Divine Mother came to me as Mother Mary because of my history. That she was the face of the Divine Mother that I was the most familiar with. Even though I grew up Catholic, but I left the church when I was about 16. And I left it with a fair amount of, what's that expression, throwing out the baby with the bathwater?
Sure.
But then, as I matured spiritually more and did other connections, and I was a Sufi for 16 years, and Jesus is considered a prophet in that tradition, a much-loved prophet, and Mary is much revered. So there she was again. So, and there's a whole chapter in the Quran called Maryam, which is the Arabic word for Mary. And her story is told in there, some of which matches up with the Bible and some of which doesn't. But she came back into my life again. And I think that's just, it was just a series of guided things. And then later, around the same time, I began connecting with Gaia because I was always grounding in the beginning of a meditation, like dropping my grounding into the earth. And as I did that, I began having deeper and deeper experiences of Gaia and actually receiving a lot of teachings from her. And I have so much love for her, and I receive so much love from her. She is another face of the Divine Mother. And I have a close friend here who channels Gaia, and we compare notes, and we're getting about the same kind of information. So it's very
that's
validating. Yeah.
Right.
We get a lot of the same kind of things. Because there's so much right now going on the planet in terms of earth changes. And, it took me a long time to understand that my feet were on the earth because I was always most of my life in the angelic realms.
Yes, I understand that.
So that was a big spiritual task that I had to learn in order to really progress. You have to be on the earth because here I am. This is it, this is the planet. And so that took a long time for me to do that. And I think as I succeeded in doing that, that's when my connection to Mother Earth, to Gaia, opened up. I thought I was just doing a grounding exercise, but it turned out to be so much more. So I think, the Divine Mother introduces herself to us as we become open to that aspect.
And maybe how we can recognize her, because you recognized her with your Catholic roots, whereas somebody else may not be open to that at all, and so then recognize her more through the nature or Gaia.
Right.
Interesting.
So I look forward to meeting more of the faces of the Divine Mother and seeing where that goes. you know. But for right now, I feel very satisfied and deeply blessed to be with Mother Mary and Mother Gaia for now. And I don't know where this is going to go. It seems to be taking off, you know. Saint Germain and Jesus are, you know, very important guides for me. And in a way, they're not separate from the Divine Mother, even though they are masculine presences. I think that gender is not what we think it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's like a very human thing. But once you get to the higher dimensions, gender is not that terribly relevant. Obviously, Jesus deeply connected to the Divine Mother.
Right. Well, and with so many of the archangels, I feel a male and a female energy from them.
Yes, they do seem to have that quality. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, even though many teachings say that the angels don't have gender, I think many of us who connect with them get a sense of divine masculine or divine feminine.
Right, or
I think,
in some cases,
both. Yeah. We just have to go with what we're experiencing in the moment and know that that might change as we travel deeper and deeper, you know, into our own spiritual light and development.
Right. I understand that completely. Sumaya, would you be willing to see if Mother Mary has anything she'd like to bring forward to the listeners today?
Sure. Do you want to ask a specific question?
I'm happy to, or, you know, if there was anything that just popped out at you right away, but sure, I'm happy to.
Okay. Well, let me just tap in. We've been talking, and so I'd like to just get quiet for about half a minute. Okay, beloved Mother Mary, do you have a message for Ruth and myself and for all the listeners on this beautiful show that's bringing forth spirit so much into the world? Yes, Sumaya. I wish initially for Ruth to know that there are many blessings coming to her from what she is doing, that she is now engaging in activities which are greatly enhancing and raising the vibrations here on the earth, and that the people on this show are here because their spirits are drawn to what's being shown here. And each person is always guided to the very specific thing that they most need to know. And each person has their own unique and beautiful light to shine. So it's extremely important that you not compare yourself to others and to see that, this person is more talented or has more success or whatever those thoughts might be, because those thoughts are really not relevant to who you are as a light, to who you are as a soul. You must trust your own divine mission, your own sense of who you are and where you're going, and keep opening to that. Because you can't be anyone else but you. And you perhaps can be inspired by other people, but not in the sense of a negative comparison. This is one of the great problems that we see here on the earth. And because so many people are now awakening, this problem is beginning to lessen. However, it is still one of the ways in which the negative energies can come inside and waylay you. So this is something that we are all here asking you to be on guard against and to really begin to pay attention. Ask yourself, well, what is my light? What do I have to offer, and how can I offer it? And know that there are answers and that they will come. There will always be an answer, even if you don't see it in the moment in which you are asking it. Call on my spirit. Call on the spirit of the Divine Mother, however you experience her, and she will answer. Blessed be.
Thank you, Divine Mother. That's beautiful. I've got time for just one more question, but then next week I so want to spend time asking this.
Yes.
Asking questions. So our network, International Angels Network, is a pretty new network. It's only been in place about a year and 3 months or so. And I would like to know, on behalf of Claudia Ibarra, the founder, how can we, as the hosts and Claudia, help International Angels Network to grow?
All right. Let me see. Beloved Mother Mary, do you have something to share about Ruth's question? Yes, Ruth. Because of the light that you are spreading and all the blessings that are coming to you through doing the work that you're doing, you must trust that as you expand your own light, that your shows, that your offerings will reach more people, that much of this is about your believing and trusting in this and seeing it as a reality. That I suggest that you and Claudia, your producer, that you and Claudia get together and vision where you see the show going, because you are both creators. You are both people who have a great vision and a divine mission. And as the two of you and any other parties who you feel are appropriate join with you in visioning this and seeing it in as much detail as you can, that this will take you so much farther, faster. And if yes, of course, you know the ordinary things that you do here on earth, and you're very skilled and knowledgeable about these things, but this advice is really from at the realm of the soul and who you are as a soul and what you have to give and how you can expand that by expanding what you see and what is possible. Blessed be.
Thank you so much, Divine Mother. That's beautiful, and we will absolutely get together and get all the hosts together to brainstorm where we want the network to go and how we can impact even more souls to help raise the vibrational consciousness. So thank you so much.
Yes, there is much divine support for what you do, and know that. That's very important. That Mother Mary is just concluding that she's saying yes, that she wants you to know that and to believe it, to see it and to feel it, and that is it.
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Sumaya, so can you answer one last question, or is that hard?
Sure.
You're
Yeah.
stepping in and out of different realms. So how has this connection with the Divine Mother changed your life?
Oh, well. Moving here to Sedona, I thought, well, I didn't quite know exactly how I would bring forth what I do, because I've been a spiritual teacher and healer for a long time, and there are many people who do that here. However, as Mother Mary began coming to me and making herself known, she and asking me to be her voice, this was really, truly life-changing because I didn't see it. I had a smaller vision of who I was. And, she's saying yes. Everybody does. So she's chiming in here that most of us do have a much smaller vision of who we are. And in the world of spirit, they are very anxious for us to know how much bigger we are and to step into that. And so through being connected to her, she has really helped me step into my role as a teacher here and as a channel for her. And this has upgraded my understanding of who I am in the realm of spirit and what I'm capable of and what mission I can accomplish. I'm really thinking bigger now and seeing bigger. So she's giving you interesting, similar advice to what she's given to me, only she didn't give it to me in words. It was more in energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you this. I am definitely going to listen back to this broadcast and type that all out and put it
Good.
in my office and on my refrigerator and on my mirror just so I can be reminded. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. So, Sumaya, I've got contact information for you if any of the listeners want to be in touch. Sumaya at souldeepconfidence.com, or you're open to folks calling you, which is lovely. And the number for Sumaya is 707-877-6368. And also via Facebook. So check out facebook.com/shining your light. So Sumaya, that's all the time we've got tonight. Thank you so very much for being with us on the radio tonight.
Oh, it's been my honor, Ruth. Thank you so much for having me. I've loved being able to share all this.
Well, I can't wait to have you back next week. So
Me too.
Thanks, folks, thank you, folks, for listening in. It's always a pleasure to have you all with us. It is my honor to be among the hosts of International Angels Network. I look forward to walking with Spirit and you next Thursday, August 9, 2018. Good night, and God bless.